My name is Christy Tabers, and the following video is a brief overview of my research proposal. My proposal study is entitled Faculty Emotional Intelligence and Online Student Success. As access to higher education increases, higher education institutions are facing demands for more accountability from stakeholders who provide funding to these institutions. Often, universities and colleges are assessed by their reported retention rates and graduation rates, which serve as common indicators of student success. As such, exploring and determining factors that affect student success are imperative to the success and growth of higher education institutions. Additionally, higher education institutions are increasingly offering courses and programs online. This delivery mode of instruction has grown exponentially in recent years. Studies have explored student success in online courses and programs. However, few studies have examined the role of the faculty to student success in online courses. Due to the dearth of information on faculty emotional intelligence and student success in online courses, more research is needed in this area. In this descriptive, exploratory, correlational, quantitative study, the researcher aims to establish whether faculty emotional intelligence plays a role in determining online student success. Using the GENOS Emotional Intelligence Self-Report Inventory to measure faculty emotional intelligence and corresponding students' self-reported end-of-term grades, the researcher will determine faculty emotional intelligence and their students' average end-of-term grades. The researcher hopes to establish whether emotional intelligence serves as a desired personal attribute to consider in the selection and evaluation of online teaching faculty members, as well as an area of professional development for those faculty members. The researcher will address the following research questions in the study. What is the relationship between faculty self-reported emotional intelligence scores and online student success as measured by students' self-reported end-of-term grade averages? And what differences exist within faculty self-reported scores of emotional intelligence and online student success as measured by students' self-reported end-of-term grade averages in different gender, teaching level, and non-tenured versus tenured status? The researcher determined the following hypotheses based on the research questions. The emotional intelligence of faculty, as measured by the GENOS Emotional Intelligence Inventory, is related to online student success as measured by students' self-reported end-of-term grade averages. There will be a significant difference between male and female faculty regarding self-reported emotional intelligence scores. There will be a significant difference between undergraduate and graduate teaching faculty regarding self-reported emotional intelligence scores, and there will be a significant difference between non-tenured and tenured faculty regarding self-reported emotional intelligence scores. A study of the relationship between faculty emotional intelligence and online student success requires an exploration of existing literature concerning the following topics: online learning, student success, emotional intelligence, and faculty and student interactions. According to Dewan, 2004, online learning involves the delivery of courses and learning components via the internet. These courses and course components are delivered from an educational provider to a student. Online learning in higher education has increased exponentially within the last decade. This growth, coupled with the current ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, resulted in the majority of students enrolled in online courses. Furthermore, Palvia et al. 2018 estimate more than 30% of American students are enrolled in at least one online course. Recently, due to the mass adoption of online learning, the quality of this instructional delivery modality has been scrutinized and called into question. Stakeholders and professionals in the field are questioning whether online learning is as effective as traditional face-to-face courses. As such, research focused on this modality is increasing. The increasing call for accountability in higher education led to an interest in determining what affects student success and retention. In fact, many colleges and universities created departments and positions focused on increasing student retention and supporting students as they progress through their academic programs. Several studies have attempted to determine the exact factors affecting student retention. A myriad of factors emerged from these studies: financial concerns, socioeconomic background, academic performance or achievement, social integration, campus climate or culture, student-faculty relationship, and academic self-confidence. For online courses, the student-faculty relationship is shown to be a major factor for student success. Carr et al. 2019 acknowledged the recent transition of the student-teacher relationship to more of a mentor-friend relationship. Studies have analyzed the importance of students' emotional intelligence to their academic success. However, a dearth of information regarding faculty's emotional intelligence exists. As such, a closer look at the student-faculty relationship dynamic is warranted. According to Salovey and Mayer, 1990, emotional intelligence is the ability to monitor one's own and others' feelings and emotions, to discriminate among them, and to use this information to guide one's thinking and actions. Emotional intelligence has been studied abundantly in recent years. This abundance of research led to the development of 3 different models of emotional intelligence: ability-based, mixed model, and trait-based. This research study will utilize the mixed model of emotional intelligence. The mixed model is unique due to its inclusion of personality characteristics which are separate from cognitive ability. Emotional intelligence plays a role in developing relationships. However, only a few studies exist analyzing faculty's emotional intelligence and its impact on student interactions and student success. These studies found emotional intelligence affects student-faculty relationships and faculty's overall teaching performance. Faculty caring and trust help establish and develop a relationship with students. There is no doubt that learning is a highly emotional activity. This notion has been widely studied in recent years. Students experience both positive and negative emotions in learning, regardless of instructional modality. However, negative emotions such as isolation are associated with online learning in particular. Understanding how to navigate these emotions and ensuring the emotions do not overwhelm students during coursework assists in students' success in learning. Previous studies found students' emotional intelligence scores significantly affected their GPA scores. While the emotions in learning have been studied extensively, studies have given less attention to the faculty side of the teaching and learning exchange. Overall, given the expansion of online learning in higher education, increased interest in discovering factors driving student retention and success, and the role of emotions in online learning, there is a need to explore the relationship between faculty emotional intelligence and online student success. The researcher will utilize a multi-section survey designed to answer the question of whether a relationship exists between the survey construct of faculty emotional intelligence and students' success as measured by their self-reported end-of-term scores. Specifically, the researcher will utilize the GENOS Emotional Intelligence Inventory to measure faculty's self-reported emotional intelligence. In addition, the researcher will collect participant faculty's demographic data for the descriptive aspect of the study. Lastly, the researcher will contact the participating faculty member students to obtain self-reported end-of-term grades and demographic details. The resulting data from the web-based multi-section surveys will indicate the emotional intelligence scores of the participating faculty members and assist the researcher in determining whether a relationship exists between faculty emotional intelligence and their students' self-reported end-of-term grades. The researcher will utilize a convenient sample drawn from one mid-sized university in the state of Texas. Currently, the university employs 870 full-time faculty members. Additionally, fall 2019 enrollment for the university was reported as 13,226 students, which includes both undergraduate and graduate students. The survey will be sent to all 870 full-time faculty members in the hopes that at least 50% of the population will participate and respond to the survey. The participants must teach online courses. This criterion will be established through the survey. If the participant does not meet the required criteria, the response will be eliminated. The sample will also comprise of the participant faculty students who will receive a different survey to collect students' self-reported end-of-term grade. All data analysis will be conducted using SPSS version 26 statistical analysis software. The researcher will utilize descriptive statistics, including Pearson correlation coefficient, to provide mean, standard deviation, and range of scores for the variables, as well as relationships between variables. The researcher will also utilize independent t-test and ANOVA to analyze differences in scores based on demographic data, specifically gender, age, teaching level, and tenure status, to support or refute the hypotheses. Throughout this research study, the independent variables will be emotional intelligence as measured by the GENOS Emotional Intelligence Inventory, age, gender, teaching level, and tenure status, and the dependent variable will be student success as measured by self-reported end-of-term grades. The researcher will utilize a multiple regression analysis to determine the magnitude and direction of each of the 7 emotional intelligence dimensions and total emotional intelligence as measured by the GENOS Emotional Intelligence Inventory, as well as gender, teaching level, and tenure status as predictors of student success as measured by the self-reported end-of-term score. Since this study has not yet been conducted, this section will outline anticipated results based on the researcher's previous study experience and previous studies' results. While the researcher aims to receive at least 50% participation from the sample population, most likely the response rate will be less than 50%. Specifically, the researcher expects about 300 faculty to participate. The demographics are difficult to predict as faculty members range in age, ethnicity, tenure status, and teaching level. However, there are more female faculty compared to male faculty at this institution, which means female participants will most likely outnumber the male participants. Additionally, the selected institution offers more undergraduate instruction compared to graduate instruction. However, the majority of the graduate programs offered are online programs. Therefore, the researcher anticipates a mix of undergraduate and graduate faculty and student responses. Based on previous experience as well as other studies on the topic, the female faculty will most likely have higher emotional intelligence scores compared to the male faculty. Additionally, faculty from particular disciplines such as public health and education will most likely receive higher emotional intelligence scores due to the nature of their field. In regard to students' end-of-term scores, the researcher anticipates that students enrolled in online courses with the faculty who scored higher in emotional intelligence will perform better in the course compared to students enrolled in a course with a lower scoring faculty member. The anticipated findings from this research study indicate that faculty emotional intelligence is related to student success in online courses. These potential findings are significant as they show the importance of the faculty-student relationship as well as faculty-student interactions. Essentially, faculty members have an impact on student success, so they should be mindful of this fact when interacting with students. This information is particularly important as online learning sometimes lends itself to poor communication and isolation. Effective online teaching requires the faculty member to be intentional in their course design and communication with their students. Additionally, the findings suggest that faculty should work to improve their emotional intelligence. As such, there is a need for faculty training in this area. Overall, this study will fill a gap within the literature on the following topics: faculty, student success and retention, online learning, and emotional intelligence. It is the hope of the researcher that faculty and administrators utilize the information derived from the study to inform their practices in online learning and faculty selection and training. Switching gears briefly, I would like to share what I learned from this research course. While I came into the course with research experience, there were areas where I needed to expand upon my knowledge. One of the concepts that I learned more about is action research and education. Since I am not a K-12 professional, I never really focused on action research in my studies. However, I learned that action research can be simple and easily conducted in the classroom. Really, all a professional needs to conduct this type of research is a good, solid research question. Additionally, I learned more about group experimental designs. I did not realize that there were several kinds of experimental designs. Understanding the differences between these design types will help me in any future research endeavors I pursue. Lastly, I learned more about the different types of sampling and when to use which sampling type. In particular, I learned the advantages and disadvantages of using each sampling type. This information will be very beneficial as I move forward with research in higher education. This course was rigorous, but I feel as though I learned a lot and added to my knowledge as a researcher. Thank you for listening.